today I'm here with Kayla Smith and we're talking about the Niagara region. Kayla, what's going on over there?
This is a big one. So if you are familiar with Niagara Falls, you have probably seen this empty building. It does not look like that yet. They are transforming it into as it's coined here, a world-class visitor experience, boosting Niagara's local economy. This is a $200 million renovation that they're doing. Anywhere near this is going to benefit from it, whether it's businesses, the value of houses, all sorts of different things. But I really do want to touch on the fact that, he said he was going to turn Niagara Falls into Vegas. Here we go.
Welcome back to the Canadian Real Estate Channel. I'm Adam J.D. Martin, your host, and today I'm here with Kayla Smith and we're talking about the Niagara region. Kayla, what's going on over there?
There's lots of deals out there. I think if you are in a position to buy, now is a good time. And I know we always say that, but I don't always say that. So I'm going to go through a lot of them, but there is a lot of opportunity out there, in my opinion. So we will get into that. All right. First, we're going to do news because we always do. Then we're going to go through a bunch of deals. And then I'm going to touch on the 2025 opportunities because I want to expand on a few things. So let's jump right into the news. This is a big one. So if you are familiar with Niagara Falls, you have probably seen this empty building. It does not look like that yet. The Toronto Power Generating Station. So it has been vacant for some 50 years. Nothing's been happening there, and it is a massive building. They are transforming it into as it's coined here, a world-class visitor experience, boosting Niagara's local economy. This is a $200 million renovation that they're doing. Anywhere near this is going to benefit from it, whether it's businesses, the value of houses, all sorts of different things. But I really do want to touch on the fact that he said he was going to turn Niagara Falls into Vegas. Here we go.
All right. I'll be the judge of that. Yeah. But that's crazy. That's an absolutely massive investment in the local area. $200 million is really quite something.
Yes.
And so, do you have any more information? Like, what is this? Like, are we showing people just how power is generated in the area, or it's larger than that?
No, it's going to be like a hotel. Yeah. So the idea is that it will be a place for people to stay, but it will also be a bit of a destination in itself. I can have it so that we link the report from from Niagara Parks. This just came out 2 days ago. It's pretty new, but we went to a Niagara Housing Symposium a few weeks back, and the mayor of Niagara Falls, Sophia Daddy, he was saying that this is going to be a huge thing for Niagara Falls, and I agree that it will. And it's a bit of a different take, I think, than what we're used to seeing on like Clifton Hill. And it just adds another level of experience for people that are going there and another reason for people to visit. So, the 14 million visitors that they get now, that's only going to continue to rise. So for real estate in the area, but also this touches on the 2025 opportunities, which we'll get into. For businesses close by to here, this influx of people will help. Yeah, this one is a big one. It's important. So I think people should definitely know. And it's right. You can see the falls are just literally right behind it. So it'll be pretty as well. So a nice place to visit. And then in other news, this is also a big deal. So advancing Niagara on the Lake strategic vision, welcoming Cooper Canada to our community. So, and then on the same token, 33 million Port Colborne biofuel facility to help make Great Lakes shipping more environmental friendly. So these are, again, just two investments into the area. One of the big focuses of the housing symposium that we went to was the investment in the area and how there was the mayors of all the cities were there, the people that work in building. There was a bunch of different people. And the big message was like, we're doing everything we can from, political standpoint to bring these businesses in to make Niagara, one of the hubs with the proximity to the border, but also to make it better for jobs, make it a better place to live. So there was was really interesting. It's one of the better, I mean, you can go to those things and they can be hit and miss, but there was a massive focus on investment into Niagara. So I think that's important that people know that.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's so much money coming into the region. I love seeing that.
I will touch on this later, but there was a lot of talk about the grants and stuff that are coming and the denser housing strategies that have come out, including that ADU that we spoke about last time, the grant, which I'll touch on again. But it does sound like some of the other municipalities may start to adopt something similar. So that'll be something to keep an eye out for. And that kind of leads us into the deals as well. Okay, so 379,000. It's been listed for 40 days. So maybe some room there. Just did a price decrease. It's owner occupied. It's separate meters. They're open to a quick close. You have a 2-bed and a 1-bed. They're not in terrible condition. Would I do a reno? I would. There's definitely a bit of a burr potential here. It's in a good area. The lot is small, so you're not doing anything in terms of building like an exterior ADU. But for a simple duplex, I don't hate when the lot is small just because the maintenance is also small.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
So this one, again, easy.
Man, what a house hacking opportunity. 379.9. Yeah. You know, you take the 1-bed, you rent out the 2-bed. Like, that is a fantastic opportunity for somebody just getting started. I mean, your down payment on that is ridiculous. Like, you could get into this thing for like 10, 15 grand and have it be owner occupied and then rent out the other side and you're living for free. I mean, financially, that's like fantastic.
Yeah, so we got a few things in here. Like, we're kind of touching on a bunch of different, I guess, depending on where you are at your investment journey. But yes, house hacking, or if you are starting out, it's a low price point. If you're going to make mistakes, which we all do, it's a good one to make. It's a good price point to make a mistake in, just in terms of like renos and stuff. Yeah. And it does have a newer roof, and you do have your separate meters, which you can actually see them. They're just right there. I like this one a lot. I've been watching it, and they just increased the price. So if there's anyone starting out, and the taxes are low because your lot's smaller, your taxes, I mean, lot's not the only thing that plays into taxes, but it does. So you have lower taxes on this one as well.
That seems like a fantastic opportunity to anybody watching. Like, it's a small deal, but it's definitely a deal.
Yes, exactly. Love. And I wanted to, like I said, we have a few kind of all over the place and all over the cities. This is 4 units. So you'll see right now it's showing as a 5-bedroom, 4-bath, meaning we have 1 2-bed and 3 1-beds. I've been through this property. The main floor, in my opinion, could become a very spacious 3-bed. With some work. They all have separate meters. It's fully vacant. It has an updated roof. Each unit, which I find very interesting, has an outdoor space. So you can kind of see on the second floor, there's that porch that is designated to one of the units. And then there's that on every unit.
Wow.
Yeah, which is a bit unique. It is very close to the falls. You do not have Airbnb zoning here. So just as a heads up, it is zoned R2. The basement is unfinished, but you have separate meters on this as well, and coin laundry in the basement. So it's listed at 709. It says days on market 0, but it has been listed for quite a while. They just relisted it. Okay. And it's in a good area. It's a decent lot. It needs some work for sure, but I'm sure there's some negotiating room. I don't want to be too presumptuous, but I would guess, as well as, some money to put into it. The biggest downfall with this one is the 3 units that are 1-beds. They have small kitchens. But one thing we've found in Niagara Falls, especially, and in this area, because you're very close to the new university, is the demand for midterm rentals. And they're not as concerned if their kitchen's not huge, because they're not staying there for, years and years and years. We have midterm renters in, I think, 3 of our units that are very close to here. And they're paying pretty decent prices for 1-beds, thinking like, you're above the 2,000 mark, and there's no end in sight for demand on those things because people are coming into that university fairly often from out of country. So, and midterm, you don't need the Airbnb license for. So that is a strategy I like here in the 1-beds. And then the 3-bed, I would reno and rent out long-term.
Nice. Yeah. And I mean, you've got your utilities separate as well. So I think that's really fantastic if it comes down to renting to students or anything like that. Obviously, anybody doing a 1-bed midterm is probably more of a senior student anyways, but just a consideration.
Yeah. So this one I do like. And like I said, I've been through it. And you have the tandem parking on the left-hand side of the house. You also have a spot just out front of the stairs, but street parking is free on this street, despite it being so close to the falls. So there is also some opportunity with the parking in terms of if there's a unit that doesn't have it, they can park on the street. So it won't be a complete deal killer for people. Yeah. So this one I like a lot. I've been through it. I can vouch for it. So getting back to St. Catharines, you'll see I have ADU grant ? So this is a triplex. It's fully renovated. One unit is rented to our vacant, so you can set your own rents there. You have a 42 by 120 lot. So this is one where I might look at that exterior ADU grant to see if it will work. So you can make this 4 units and again, do your due diligence, but the taxes are decent and you are super close to Brock here, which I think adds just another level of comfort when you are looking at what your tenant pool is going to be. Brock is only growing. And to be completely honest, I don't think that their residences are keeping up with their students just based off of what I've been seeing. And the price of rooms is not going down. It is going up. I've seen rooms, advertised anywhere from, if you're in the basement, I've seen anywhere from like the 500 to 600. If you're upstairs in a house that's only decent, I've seen as high as 750, depending on where you are. So I'm not like, student rentals kind of fell off for a while. I think they're coming back. And that's obviously students were at home with COVID, but they are back. I live in a fairly student oriented neighborhood close to Brock, and the students are back. I can vouch. So I do like this one as well. You have the 6 beds and the 3 baths. So you're working with I think it's a 3, a 2, and a 1.
Yeah. Again, good bedroom mix. If you were going to go the student approach, that's again, going to be more than likely mature students that are not, this isn't going to be a first year property if it's a 3 or a 2 bed, but I love that. Right. I mean, you start thinking about $750 a month per bed and it's looking pretty good.
And right? Especially I think they're more apt to pay a higher amount when they're not sharing it with, 15 people.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a lot more attractive. So I can see that being definitely a pull. All right, we're going to Thorold. So this is 3 units. So you have a multiplex here. It's fully vacant. You have a 33 by 297 lot. So the width is not, it's massive. The width's not necessarily there. Obviously, this 33.45, but as the rest of Thorold begins to adopt, the rest of Niagara begins to adopt this ADU thing, if it goes well, and we start to see it spill into other parts of the region, this could be a prime candidate for an ADU because you have almost 300 feet deep lot.
Yeah. Yeah, that's massive.
Yeah, at 650 for 3 units, it's not it still works, but it's not a knock it out of the park deal. But if you're thinking future or what you can take down and rebuild here, there's a bunch of different plays here. But it's just the lot size is massive. And if you can wait out one of your neighbors and merge title, now you have an even bigger lot because those ones are just as deep. So I just wanted to, this one's a bit of a more future thinking, but I think there's something there. And again, you're very close to Brock here. You're close to a new McDonald's, which just opened a few weeks ago. The grocery stores and all that stuff. So this one, it's very interesting for that. And don't forget that if you're putting an offer in on something, you can do it conditional on due diligence to see what the appetite is from the city of Thorold for something in the back as it stands. So that is all an option right now as we still are living in, a market where buyers have a fair bit of negotiating power.
Yeah, that's a fantastic point, right? Like this is the time as a buyer to be out there making offers, but we want to be making the offers that make the most sense for us, right? Like look at your goals, look at your strategy, compare it to what's sitting out there on the market and just go ask, right? Like it doesn't hurt, doesn't cost anything to ask to take some due diligence on a property and be able to actually go take that contract over to the city and say, hey, what could I do here with this property? And ask the right questions. Like, what would that do to the taxes? What would that do for my utilities? What would I have to do to add utility lines to this property. Like there's a lot you can accomplish under a conditional contract. So might as well make the offers if that's what you're looking to do.
Yeah, like this is not for this property, but for another one, like we're going to offer conditional on actually getting a permit for the garage, like to build a garage.
Yeah.
And it's like, if it's been sitting, or if people want an out, they can put an escape clause in there. There's so many ways to make it work with the buyer and the seller so that both parties feel like they've won. So yeah, exactly what you said. Just don't be afraid to actually try. This one is new. This is a solid, like you can see, brick bungalow in Thorold. Has a side door to the basement. Basement's a good height. Windows look good. I point people to this big window down here. So it gives you an idea of like where the basement is and how high it is when you're looking at stuff. Right now it's a 2-bed, 1-bath. It's $420,000. So expensive for a brick bungalow. This is a conversion play. This is a flip if that's what you're looking for. It doesn't have to be a conversion. I like them. Brick bungalows tend to do very well no matter what you do with them in terms of a refinance or a flip or something like that. People do tend to gravitate towards brick, especially I find like the older population, if it's not a brick house. So I think and then house hacking this one as well. There's something to be said for that. If you live upstairs and you put the unit in the basement and you do your refi, and then maybe you move out next year and you don't pay capital gains on it. I do like this one quite a lot. And there's some opportunity to add some parking in the front. You can see the grass is there. So if you just cut the curb a bit further, there's opportunity to have parking for both units. Now we're getting into the stuff that has sold. So sad me, because I booked an appointment to go see this to potentially put in an offer on it, and it had sold the day I booked the appointment. So this is if you're familiar with St. Catharines, you'll know the Old Glenridge area is considered one of the nicest areas in St. Catharines. This house is on a 40 by 131 lot. It's a 3-bed, 1-bath right now. The basement, I'm assuming the basement's not super high, but is high enough to finish in terms of a value add, not for a unit. But it's one where the houses on the street sell anywhere from $650,000 to over $1 million, depending on what it is. So I was a super fan of this one. And like I said, I did try to book an appointment to bring a contractor through it to get an idea of either for clients or for us. Missed out, but kudos to whoever got it. I do really like this one. I think if you're doing a flip in a great area, you kind of lessen your risk a bit. Sometimes you also take away the ability to increase your profits by a lot. Sometimes in those bad areas, you can get a house for a great price. But I do like this one if you're starting out in flipping because you're in a good area, or if you just like to do flips in a good area.
13 days on market. It's pretty quick.
Yeah, it was listed a while ago and it didn't sell. And then they took it off and then they relisted it. So there was some opportunity before, but this is where I'm saying, I think if you are able to, and you're in the market, there's some, and then if you are flipping this house, you're going to be ready just in time for spring market.
Yeah.
And we don't know exactly what that will look like. Obviously there's new inflation information, but I still suspect this would work very well even with that.
Yeah, I mean, traditionally March is always going to be better than October or November. So, you can at least count on seasonality to help you out in that respect.
Yeah, absolutely. And there'll be a whole new bunch of people in the market at that time too. So the people that didn't pick it up now. And then this one, I really liked this one as well. So this is another one where this is in St. Catharines. So that grant may come into play here as well. You can see there's already a garage at the back, and there is a door to the basement here. So this is in Secord Woods, which is actually quite a nice area. Bungalow sold for $492,500. And there's bungalows in this area that sell $750,000, $800,000, depending on how nice you make it. So the potential is there. This one, you're going to wait a little bit longer to get it. You can see that 60 to 90 days at the bottom. For possession. But if you have a good plan, this was one that I sent to a few clients that were looking for burrs, but also for flips, because you don't have to do that conversion. It's just an option, but it also worked as a flip. And I did send it to a few people. So this one I do really like as well. The zoning's there, the lot's there. It's in a nice area. So a few different options for this. And even for a flip, it's not the lowest entry point, but under like sub 500 is still pretty decent.
Yeah, I'm just looking consistently at these solds, like your list to sales price is below 1.
Yeah.
So just good insight too for anybody looking at this and thinking about offers that you want to make in the future.
So this is why we are saying, take a look now. There's a lot out there. There's a lot of opportunity, and it's at price points that, like, if you're a new investor, you can get in. If you're experienced, you can get in. And then even on the commercial side, which we have access to, which we talked about last time, we're seeing some stuff there of things starting to come down, people being a little bit more eager to sell if they are. And then in the new year, so that we have some people that don't want to sell because of tax burdens, so they're waiting for the new year. So do keep an eye out for that. And then this brings me to this. So we talked about this last time. This slide is actually from last time. But the cheap flips, we kind of just went over those. But I do want to point out, I didn't include some of the other ones that I was looking at because I didn't want to just continuously show sold prices. But I've seen flip opportunities sell as low as 248 recently.
Wow. Dang.
In Niagara Falls, so not in a terrible area, I've seen 285 in St. Catharines as recent as today. And those are the prices you're going to get if you're willing to get into those neighborhoods that maybe aren't as desirable as Old Glenridge, but there's still the market for it's still there, and the gap between what you're going to buy for and what you're going to sell for is still there. It's just lower.
That's wild. And also, by the way, if you're looking at renting out places like that, like the mortgage on that is like $1,200 or something. I don't know. Like, I mean, so there's really good opportunities at price points like that for cash flow as well.
Yeah. And then I did want to touch on the short-term rental, midterm rental thing again. The reason being is because I think last time I said, the midterm rental thing is a bit, I guess, less sure than but now I'm starting to see in ours, we have insurance bookings, we have people that are moving, we have the university students. We're starting to see a lot of midterm opportunity too, which was something that even we steered away from before. And now I'm liking that more. So I did want to bring that back up because we're getting a lot of, and the insurance thing is becoming pretty popular, like insurance bookings through Airbnb. And if you can make those connections with those people, like the people that work in insurance, you can be their go-to person. So I did want to bring that up, and as well as the commercial opportunities. So do keep an eye out as you are planning for next year. We've heard the tax thing several times in terms of selling in certain tax years. So that is something I'm suspecting that we'll see come January. And then in terms of businesses, so we're starting to make a list of businesses that are interested in selling.
Nice.
So we'll be sharing that. But with that comes a lot of opportunity to get creative, which Adam, we talked about that last time. And these people are so invested in their businesses that they want to help you succeed in their business, which will become yours. So do keep an eye out for that. If you are interested in buying businesses, reach out to us and we can give you kind of an idea of what we're working with to see if you're interested in it. And I think 2025 should be pretty good. I know we still have December, but it's looking pretty decent despite the news and whatnot that came out last week. So I'm excited.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I'm really looking forward to this list of businesses that are potentially coming up for sale. I think that's extremely exciting. We talked a lot last month about what's exciting about that, but just to kind of recap quickly, huge opportunity with business sales to look at seller financing, huge opportunity with business sales for the seller to actually stay on and educate and train you on how to run that business, and a huge opportunity for you to add value, because often we can see what people were doing for decades at a time and recognize small changes that can have huge impacts on the actual valuation of the business. So really interesting for that. Very different types of financing products available as well for that. Ton of opportunity there. So I'm really excited to share that on the channel. And I think that's a beautiful opportunity.
Yeah, Adam, I totally agree. Super excited for 2025. I know we still have December, but that's it.
I love it. Well, Kayla, thanks again for bringing us so many different opportunities. I love your presentation and how you showed us so many live deals that are out there, as well as the actual solds. I think it's important to keep that in focus on the channel, that like there's all these opportunities we show, but there's actually people out there taking action and purchasing these properties. And I love looking at the sold data because it's real data points we can grab onto. And you can run those through your calculator if you want, if you're just watching this at home and you're like, oh, that property sold for 400. I'm going to put that into my calculator right now and see what would have happened had I made that offer and actually got that deal accepted. So really exciting to see real numbers. And of course, I'm excited, as excited as you are really for 2025 and to see the business list you come up with, as well as just what other real estate opportunities we see with CMHC, with potential rate cuts. We'll see where inflation goes. We'll see what's going to happen. And before the end of the year, we're going to have a big roundtable. We're going to sit down and talk with all of the people that are on this channel so that we can actually just get a good understanding of where everybody feels the market is going. And hopefully we can enter the new year more informed and with some vigor. Let's go.
I look forward to it.
Awesome. Thank you, Kayla.